This second of 4 narrative chronologies shares selected content from audio tapes I recorded for my family in Massachusetts about my work and life in the Northern Mariana Islands from September 1976 through August 1977. Unfortunately, only 7 usable audio tapes survived. Those are for the months of September, November, March, June, July, and August. The accompanying transcripts, available in the KPV Collection website, section KN4, identify the date each tape was made and the audio tape number. In the future, other content will be added to provide a more complete narrative of those years.
I really like my new car. It's been quite difficult not having a car. It was no problem when Greg was traveling so much, but it kind of meant I was just stuck in the office, and sometimes I would want to go places and do things. Sometimes Greg would want to go places and do things, so this solves that problem. School starts Tuesday, and I'll have to start going out to the schools. We're in 16 classrooms this year, and so it'll mean a lot more work visiting around. Spent this last week organizing my office, going through all the file cabinets and arranging all the materials so everybody could find them and getting everything in shape. There's been quite a turnover in staff, and a lot of these things needed to be done. So it feels good to have those things done. I'll probably be traveling to Guam more this year, as we'll be having more training things connected with Guam. Guam's just had an election for different kinds of offices. The newspaper's been full of all sorts of things from that. We still have rain from the storm that's going by, but it's gone by and it's not doing anything except raining. And it's Monday again today, went to work. My days are varied, to say the least. Today I met with all the principals and went over training plans. I'm going to do a course in how to take tests, the TOEFL, which is an English test, and the SAT test, and about long-range training, and worked on writing a tomorrow test that we're going to give for a pre-test and a post-test to all the children. I got a new employee today, so I had to break her in and show her the office and train her. And went out to a school today to observe some classes and did some correspondence that I had to do. And I'm writing an evaluation report, so I had to have had one of my secretaries find percentages of scores that have been given out in that. And I've got an artist doing some work, so I had to check him and see how that was coming along. So there's always lots of things happening. I could sit in that office and have nothing new given to me for 2 months probably and still have plenty to do, but things go along okay and seem to meet all the deadlines when they come along. We had last Thursday off because it was Covenant Day. That was the day of the signing of the Northern Marianas agreement to be a Commonwealth. And the Constitution has just been ratified, and the Northern Marianas is very quickly separating from the Trust Territory. And I think could be actually totally separated within the next year. It's moving along a lot faster than I had thought it would. There's a representative in Washington now named Pangilinan, who I talked with a couple weeks ago, and he's a liaison between the Northern Marianas and Washington. And I don't know, there's lots of things. It's a very interesting time. Every week something's a little different, something's arranged a little differently. We just got brand new official stationery. As we get more separated, then there's more authority. I suppose there's less things that Trust Territory is doing for us. So that is part of the growing process. My job continues to go along very well. I have 2 consultants coming from Hawaii, probably tomorrow, to work on materials development. I had some consultants from Los Angeles here a couple weeks ago and took them around. We're working on revising the Chamorro orthography, and that's involved a lot of conferences via radio with the people in Hawaii and that sort of thing. We've been offering a series also of training courses, and this last one was Introduction to Bilingual Bicultural Education. I brought over a professor from the University of Guam to teach that, and we had an intensive 2-week course. It was 3.5 hours a night. I went down the first night, as I usually do, to make sure everything was okay, and found it very, very interesting. The professor was Chamorro, and of course the class, my teachers and everybody are Chamorro, and he was explaining American culture and American attitudes and attitudes towards bilingual education and such. And so I decided to take the course, and that cut into the last 2 weeks pretty much. I left the house at 7:30 and didn't get back usually until 10. Made it home for lunch some days, but class started at 5:30, and then I had homework and exams, and of course I had to get the best grade in the class, not because I cared whether I got the best grade in the class or not, but because I'm bilingual director and it would look bad if I didn't. Anyway, I really enjoyed working with my teachers in the class, and found a lot of the attitudes and ideas very, very interesting, and it was nice to take a course. The next course we're offering is folklore, and Judith Hout will be teaching that. She has a master's in folklore. She'll be staying with me for the 2 weeks that she's here in April, and we'll use folklore as a way of examining culture, which should be interesting. And then the month after that, we have a course in Chamorro orthography applied. And then summer will be here, and I'll be teaching a course in August on bilingual strategies. But I'm not planning to teach any other right now. I'm probably going to be teaching some, maybe University of Hawaii course in linguistics or something, but that's still up in the air. It'll take time to get that all together. We had some people over for dinner last night. A fellow who's here from Vermont, which was kind of interesting. He works at finance department here is absolutely chaotically a mess. It's been mismanaged for quite a while, and I don't know how they're ever going to get it straight. But anyway, that's not my problem. But I'm always bugging them because people are paid off my account who aren't supposed to be, and I keep weekly records. I keep records on everything, which is a total duplication, but it's the only way I can make sure my funds are spent properly and that nobody else is using them for other purposes, since all my funds are kept by finance. But as long as somebody knows you're really checking on it, the chances of them being misused are slight. The conference in Hawaii was a very confusing sort of conference, but I had a good time and was glad I went. I don't think I told you too much about it. My friend Birch Robinson, who was in Burlington with me at St. Michael's, got married while we were there, and that was really nice. He's in Iowa right now, and he and Ruth will be back in about 4 days, and I think they have a new apartment to move into. We've been keeping their stuff here at our house because where Birch was living was very, very small. And Ruth has her doctorate in computer programming and will be able to help me with the evaluation of our project by putting the test scores through the computer and evaluating them, which I really don't do very well. I tried it last time, and I'm not good at that particularly. But maybe I'll get better. I haven't been doing much diving. I really find I enjoy more having some time at home and on the weekends, or going picnicking or just relaxing. Been reading different books, reading Ragtime right now and enjoying that. There's a nice system of trading books and people leaving books and picking up books, and which makes it we do get books to read. I've been doing a lot more writing, and have been enjoying that. You asked for shells. Shelling on saipan is not good. I'll try to find some shells. There's they usually get all broken up on the reef. Greg maybe could get some diving, but I'll have to write a friend in a different district and see if maybe they could send up some shells and we could send them on to you. It might take a while. If I go to another different district, it'd be easier. People don't tend to send things around here. It's more apt to take them. Probably the next time I have somebody going to someplace, ask them to pick up some shells, and we'll send them along.
And I've been offered to ask to accept another contract, either in my position I'm in now as bilingual director, or if a qualified Micronesian applies for that job, it will be re-advertised. Would like me to stay in another position, possibly the federal program coordinator, lead supervisor or something on that idea. My project's going to be hiring a TESOL supervisor, but they won't let me apply for that because I know a lot of other things, I guess. I wouldn't be working hard enough or something. We're on water hours now. It's been, we're just starting, I guess, to get some rain. So we're usually on water hours at this house anyway, but now they're all over the island. So we have, the water goes off about 8 o'clock at night and comes on the next morning. We were on electricity hours about a month ago. We ran out of fuel. The barge got lost in the Czech or something, I'm not sure. But there wasn't enough fuel. Mobil has the franchise here for all the Czech territory, and the Northern Marianas is now requesting that the Northern Marianas not be bound to just using Mobil, and citing poor service and high prices as a reason. Continue to go out a lot, frequent parties and things, and going out tonight, a party for someone who's leaving, and a party, what with the war cream's money, a lot of housewarming parties. I put in for a telephone. The telephone company is now private and could be expanding, so I'm just phoning the phones, and that was it. You either had one or you didn't. But now they've opened it up, so I don't know how long it'll be till the telephone, but maybe getting in at some point. And Saipan is better than the phone service on Guam, which I thought was going up, but we usually can use every call. I continue to radio letter and tune pretty frequently and keep in communication with them. But not much to do is a telephone conversation.
I'll probably come back for home leave in October or November. Really, we'll have to decide exactly when there'll be a meeting in Washington of bilingual directors that I'd like to go to. That'll be in November. The bilingual conference is going to be in Puerto Rico in like March, and there's a TESOL convention in Mexico City in like April, all of which I'd like to attend. So I'll figure out which would be the best time to come, and what would be the best to do. I'm really not much anxious to leave here. Islands kind of grow on you, which I think is probably hard to understand, but I really like being here and have very little desire to leave from being here. I did spend 3 days in Guam a couple weeks ago, which was really fun. I needed to get away, and I had a really good time. I did a lot of very interesting things. from going out with other people for sushi with the Speaker of the House in Guam and discussed the role of language, taking part in a colloquium, just being out with friends. Had probably the best time I've ever had on Guam in terms of just relaxing, but was very happy to get back here. And it's going to be really hard for me to make a trip to the States. As much as I'd like to see people. There's something that grows on me about being here and living here. Although I know it is not a permanent place for somebody like me. But it's also been learning Chamorro, which I'm pleased about. My neighbor, the girl that babysits for her, is teaching her Chamorro, which is quite important to me as bilingual director, that my daughter know at least some Chamorro. And now that she started, she's very proud of herself for being able to speak some of this language, and I think that'll be a good thing. So that was a pretty busy day, and then we went to the carnival. There's a carnival here for 4th of July, which has rides, which is a really big deal for out here. There hasn't been a carnival with roundy rides and those kind of rides here before, so everybody was really excited about that. There was no parade for the 4th of July, but we decided to go hiking instead. We both got a little bit too much sun, but so did everybody else, so it's all right. And it was a fun day. We took a picnic and with the group of people we were with, and it all worked out very nicely. And looks like tomorrow night we have a party we'll be going to for the professors that are here teaching the college courses, and then we have a party Friday for Jean and Pialani, who are our friends that are leaving, going back to Hawaii. So it seems to continue right along in pattern and going very well. We've had a lot of visitors. Last week, Sister Ellen Jean, a friend from Guam, stayed with Lisa while I was there for different types of meetings concerning the university and language use and this sort of thing on Guam. Seems like there's so much going on, but I'm never sure how interesting it sounds to anybody else, or that it makes any sense to anybody not really involved with all the stuff that's happening here. We went on the Nauru ship when it came in. It's a passenger ship, and it's coming in again tomorrow. There's going to be a luncheon on it that I think I will go to. I took Lisa down when it came in before, and it was just kind of a fun thing to do. Doing a lot of interesting things and really enjoying our time here and the lifestyle. And it's an exciting time, as I've mentioned before, with all the changing. Last paycheck was my first government of the Northern Marianas paycheck. Previous to this, they've been trust territory paychecks. So every time there's something a little bit different. It was interesting on Guam being with some of the political leaders there and talking with them about different things that are happening. It seems like the Northern Marianas even has it a little more together. There's a group of professors here for the summer
we offer college courses on Saipan to the teachers, and one of the fellows who's teaching speech and communications courses, also on Guam, has handled some of the work for some of the politicians. And it's been interesting learning about that aspect of things. In terms of the different consultants I've had in, I've expanded my whole view on cultural and language aspects of things. Had a couple consultants here for a little while from Puerto Rican heritage. One's a professor now at the University of Wisconsin, and one at, I guess, Northeastern. And it was really good spending time with them and talking with them in many ways. Well, not in many ways. I am in some minority roles out here. One as a woman in the job I'm in, and the kind of work I do. Many times I'm the only woman at meetings and such, and also in terms of being an American. Many times I'm the only American in something. And, it's been a lot of interesting things for me thinking about in that role and getting more understanding of how we see ourselves through others' eyes, and how this affects what we're doing and not doing. And it's been good to have people to talk to about how they felt in these different roles. And I've made a lot of new friends, and it's been a really fine time for me. Probably one of the more expanding of me as a person and my understanding of cultures and peoples, I suppose. Been doing a lot of reading, continue to do a lot of writing. Hope to get an article done for the Bilingual Journal soon. And starting to consider at least a little bit if I want to go on in my education, or exactly what direction I want to go in. I got my new proposal money, which is 223,000 some odd amount, which was nice to have it come through. I got a contract offer today, which I'll have to read over and make some decisions about. I haven't had a chance to look at it. It's here. Let's see. I would be a specialist 2, and my new salary would be about 14,500. And then I'll probably be changed to a specialist 3 with the new position. Tomorrow's Friday, and then the following week we're going to Guam, and then we'll have a week before I have all bunch of consultants coming in and things happening. So that ought to keep us pretty active. Went to a party. Good night, dear. Love you too. I had an enjoyable time at the party last night for the college professors, and that all worked out well. This is with our friend Patsy. Patsy Lane is a consultant I use to help with curriculum.
She's from the University of Hawaii, and she has been here for about 3 weeks, and she and Lisa are very good friends. So we went down and went swimming this afternoon and played volleyball, and then Lisa went home with Patsy, and they're going to arrive for dinner pretty soon. It's Lisa had a couple girls spend the night last night, and they had a good time. And then this morning we puttered around here, and then I went into the office for a while, and they went in with me. It's Sunday today, and I like working in the office sometimes when nobody's there. And I had a particularly busy week last week, and Lisa enjoys going in with me, and her friends enjoyed coming because they can pretend they're secretaries and use the electric typewriter and fool around. So I had some time of peace and quiet and got some of my work done, and Lisa enjoyed playing. In fact, I was ready to go home about 12, and they wanted to stay, so we ended up staying till about 3. The public schools start tomorrow, and I had 2 workshops going on last week. They both were good. Patsy did the one, and then the Cross-Cultural Resource Center from Cal State at Sacramento did the other, and there were 4 people here, all excellent. Fine workshop. One segment was on developing materials with all sorts of samples of materials. Another segment was on working with different cultures within the classroom. And another segment was on the community involvement. And then the other segment was on games. So there was a lot of difficulty with it being the week before school was to start and everyone having many things to do, but it went well. It's always a little more busy for me when I have people here. Although I really enjoy the interaction, it was very good for me to have time to talk with these people about what's happening, and I enjoyed taking them around the island, and we went swimming and out for dinner and dancing and puttering around, so it was fun as well as work. In fact, today's been the first day that I've played volleyball in about a month. It seems I've had so many people in and out. Oh, there's our phone ringing. We've got a phone. Last week, in fact, phone's for me. I'll continue later. Well, that was just friends that are coming over for dinner. I haven't quite gotten used to having a phone. It's really strange because, of course, I use a phone at work quite a bit, but it's always business calls, and having a phone and just chatting is something I'm not used to at all. This friend called the other night and to talk, and I had long periods of silence because I'm just not used to chatting on the phone. Anyway, we've been getting things fixed up around the house. They came a couple days ago and redid all the screens that had holes in them and put up new screens on most all the windows, so that that's done. And then this day, a couple weeks ago, they came in and put in the phone and fixed the shower and fixed the toilet and fixed the stove. And they fixed the door yesterday. There have been a number of things wrong in the house, and I just hadn't gotten around to calling.
They haven't fixed the door yet because they don't have another door now.
Well, they will, though. They fixed part of it. Anyway, so the house is, all those things are done by Public Works, and there's a trouble desk number that you call, and they come and do it. But somebody has to be in the house. They don't come into the house unless you're here. And it was always more trouble to figure out when they were coming and get off from work and stuff and be here than it was to have what was the matter. Anyway, that's, so everything's working well in the house now. Our phone number is 9281. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's our home phone now, 9281. And my business phone is 9283 or 9287.
I can memorize it now, 9281.
Right. So anyway, I kind of like having a phone, I think. and there's a new phone system. With this changeover in government, everything's changing. It's an exciting time, but it's quite a confusing time. But my federal project was the first federal project to have all its funds sent down to the district, and that's been confusing, figuring out the forms and ways to do things. Anyway, it should work out okay in the long run. But they're going to have a governor's election pretty soon. Been pretty busy, but enjoying that part of things. I'm really enjoying having this extra time that I have. I think we'll probably go to the beach this weekend and take Patsy maybe. Have Patsy over for dinner. Patsy's this consultant I have doing curriculum development workshop. And so it'll be her last weekend on Saipan. May even have her come up and stay at the house. Had one of the people from the workshop staying at the house. The airline, with this new policy of that they can overbook 20% or whatever exactly the policy is really made things a little difficult out here. And if you don't get to the airline super early, or at least make sure you're up front in line, it's possible you're going to get bumped, which can mean right now, when it's a time when students travel. I think they're booked through September on Continental, so if you're going through the districts, traveling is getting a lot more tight, a lot more difficult. They really do put on an extra flight. The route to Japan is supposed to open October 1st. Anyway, these consultants I had here wrote and asked me to make reservations for them at the hotels a little late, and all the hotels on the island were full, had been for a couple weeks. And it's the Continental Hotel, Intercontinental, Royal Taga, half a day, and they've really been just filling up, mostly with Japanese tourists. Anyway, I did get a room for the men involved that came at the Taga, which is down the other end, and the one of the women, the only woman that came, stayed with me. It worked out fine. They arrived on a Friday night, and there was a party going on. I think I've described, and you've seen pictures of Chamorro parties, typical wedding party, and they enjoyed being exposed to that, although they were pretty tired. Went on from that to, there was a youth conference, and went to the youth conference party, and then had another party to go to for somebody that was going away. So it made a pretty busy time. They didn't make it quite all that way. They were tired and went to bed. And then Saturday we had a meeting with different people, and then I took them on a tour of the island all over the place, and then we went out for dinner and around, and the whole week kind of went like that. Well, I'm not quite sure how I got off on that. Anyway, Greta stayed here with us for a while, and then when the Taga had room, she went down there so that they had time to meet down there. And I learned a lot about what's happening in the States and what's happening in Washington in terms of Title VII and funding and all that sort of thing. It should be interesting being at the conference in October and taking part in that. I'll go from here to Hawaii and spend a couple days in Hawaii. I have a lot of people to see there now, and might spend a couple days on the West Coast with friends, and then I'll go right to Washington since I'll be in the work mood. Probably getting to Washington, I don't know, October 19th or 20th or so. And that conference, I think, is over the 24th. No confusion with the start of school, starting earlier than people had planned. And, but that will work out.
I substituted in the high school yesterday math, but I did not teach math. I talked about bilingual bicultural education, whether they wanted to hear about it or not. I've been getting materials from the Bilingual Association in Massachusetts, and that's been nice. I've appreciated getting those, and some of them have been pretty interesting. At some point we'll write to them.
Well, it is now August 23rd. I'm trying to arrange slides and get them ready to send out, and have spent part of the day on papers. You know, I keep everything that was ever written and have accumulated quite a bit, much of which, believe it or not, serves me in good stead. I have no regrets about doing it. It's just that right now it needs a little organizing. In the States, I plan to go to Washington first. I don't really want to get involved with family or see family or anybody until after I've done my work. I'm excited about going to the meeting. Now I have a lot of friends that I'll be seeing. You know, they've been out here for as consultants and stuff, so that'll be fun. It should be a fun time for me. I probably won't want to stay in the States too long.
Initial draft of Audiobook 5 titled Working in the Northern Mariana Islands, Transition from Trust Territory of the Pacific Islands to Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, Bilingual Bicultural Education and Higher Education by Dr. Kit Porter Van Meter. This historical 4-year narrative is created from 36 audio tapes sent by me, Kit Porter, to my family in Massachusetts and California between 1975 and 1979. In the accompanying transcripts, each chapter is identified with the date of the tape was made and the audio tape number in the KPV collection audio inventory. Not all the tapes survived the past 50 years. Some were taped over, and some were missing or unclear. Actual recordings are at different speeds because of electrical problems. Background music from the radio and records can make it difficult to hear the words. The focus of this narrative is on my first 4 years as a contract employee in the Northern Mariana Islands, as it ceased to be administered by the U.S. Trust Territory of the Pacific Islands and became a Commonwealth of the United States. My initial work focused on directing the Title VII Chamorro and Carolinian bilingual projects. As islanders were hired to fill these roles, I was assigned to coordinate and be the State Director of Bilingual Bicultural Education, to arrange training for teachers and government employees, and be the coordinator and State Director of Higher Education. A future narrative will focus on my work establishing Northern Marianas College between 1979 and 1983. We are making this rough draft public now because I'm 80 years old and will not have time to polish it. Maybe somebody else will. My work now is to add content from reports, documents, letters, additional audio, and memories to create a more comprehensive narrative. Michael Sousa has shepherded this work for more than a decade, arranging and digitizing audio tapes, creating transcripts, combining and editing select audio, researching and selecting systems, equipment, and digital sites, and preparing these audiobooks.